World Changers was born out of the Billions Rising Foundation, the nonprofit that I had started, because my two business partners, Melissa Lamming and Demetrius Jones, we all thought if we tell stories through the visual medium of television, people like that. They like to see other people doing good things in the world. They like stories. And so just now I am finishing what's called the World Changers Weekly Report, which is 16 segments. They're going up onto Amazon and Hulu and some other places. And they're short. They're little short stories that start with a host. So I'm one of the hosts. Marcellus Wiley, the football player, he's one of the hosts. And Grace Ng, who's a young actress, is another host. And so we're trying to be diverse in who our hosts are, and, attract different audiences that way, and speak to people in that way, people who can identify with the host. And so each one of these segments starts with one of us saying, here's a problem on Earth, it's kind of a big problem, and here's someone or some group that's solving that problem in a sustainable way. Everything we talk about is what is sustainable. Not just, we always say not a handout, but a hand up. That's one of our phrases that we use. What can give somebody a hand up so that they can take the next step in their lives? And so then for a minute to a minute and a half, the story goes on and it tells, what is this group doing? Who have they incorporated? How are they helping? What are the testimonials? We have these great pictures and videos and really incredible stories, everything domestic or overseas. One of my favorite stories, I'll just tell you, is it's called Gaza Rising Up from the Ashes. And it is, I know, and it's just the name alone is heart-wrenching. But it is about two women engineers in Gaza who found a way to make bricks out of the ashes of destroyed buildings. They have done such great work. These buildings are fireproof, they're insulating, they're environmentally sustainable. They're manufacturing bricks incredibly fast there in Gaza now. Just gathering the ash and sifting it and mixing it, and it becomes building material because they weren't able to get building materials into Gaza. So now one of the women has won an award from Japan to be able to spread this through the whole Arab world using the ash from destroyed buildings. So that's a very wrenching one. There's another one that Marcellus Wiley hosts, which is called Saving Rain Water in India. I think it's something like that, because there's a really great phrase in India. Rain is a guest in our house, and these water ponds, water-saving catchment ponds, help the guest to stay longer. And so it's about, yes, okay, so how is climate change affecting India? There's places that have gone into drought, but now they're building these huge catchment ponds and saving the water, and farmers are able to grow 3 crops a year instead of 1, and it's helping them come out of poverty too. So, and I think I mentioned to you earlier that dog grooming, teaching homeless women or single parents who are really on the edge, financially, to become professional dog groomers. I mean, who would have thought of that as a career for these women? And it's amazing because they can keep their own hours, they can work in, pet grooming facilities, or they can start their own business. And there's a lot of training, and in most of these groups there's a lot of training for, how to keep a household budget, helping with active parenting, all kinds of things. Most of these nonprofits that we represent do that. So we're really excited with all these stories that we're able to tell. And even before I started the weekly report, we had created numerous segments on what was going on in the world. One of them, Demetrius Jones is the host of. It's called Law and Empowerment, and he interviewed an attorney. Kimberly Motley is her name. She's in the news sometimes too. She's just amazing. When she graduated from law school and passed the bar, she didn't just open a little local law firm. She opened one in Kabul, Afghanistan, to represent the people there who needed help. Often it's women, but she works for human rights all over the world. So she's really quite amazing. Periodically you see she's in the news because she's won a case And she's managed to get women out of prison in Afghanistan, and anyway, that's a great segment too. And I'm trying to think what else was so good. There's, technology. We have a Tech for Good segment. How are some of these big tech companies giving back to the world? They're serving nonprofits. They're helping women. They're helping inclusion. Tech inclusion, bringing more people of color, more women into technology. That's really a big part of what we represent. So
what is the common denominator?
The common denominator is how it gets people out of poverty in a sustainable way. How to work to end poverty by helping people to learn that if you have these resources already, how could you work with them better? Or how could these shoes that expand for the rest of your childhood so you keep one pair of shoes, how can that help you because you get to go to school then? Or these lights that are solar-powered lights that take the place of kerosene lamps. How does that help you because you're able to study at night and your mom's able to do the cooking? Kerosene burns, and there's big fires from kerosene lamps. Kerosene lamps are a big thing overseas. A lot of places in Africa, that's what people do. They burn kerosene. But these solar lights, you can charge your phone off of them too.
So the how really relates.
The how is
to
really
how we see, how we perceive the world, and how we perceive ourselves contributing to that.
Well, it also,
so the how is not about really what, because the what in all these different ways will come out of how.
Yeah.
It's how we approach it.
Yes.
And so the big shift in changing the world is to develop a world of compassion and care.
Well, of course, yeah.
So that that's the essence. So it's to really foster and really help all these different groups to come to their hearts and be in their hearts and their solutions for all the various different challenges.
It's very diverse around the world.
Yes, but the solutions, but it needs to come out from the simple place of true love and care.
Right.
So that's who you're featuring.
That's who we're featuring. We are featuring nonprofits, individuals, groups of people, or just individuals who care about humanity. And like what you were saying about what do these young people need? What do they need in the orphanage that you were talking about in Baja? This is the reason we started doing this work, is because we discovered that philanthropy had changed so much that not only was it helping to create sustainability, but it was asking each individual, what do you need? What is it you need out of life? What do you need to make your life easier? Don't let us tell you with our culture what we see, we think you need, but you tell us, what do you need? And we'll help you to find that. And so it is, it is all based on compassion, and it is all based on a big vision of, you have to see the world as so many different kinds of people sharing one heart, basically.
Appreciating the diversity, but coming into that nucleus of love, oneness.
Yes.
And that's what we call Everland.
Right.
That place.
And we've come full circle from where we began.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your vision for the future, your big picture, for your service and your work?
Well, in terms of my own life, one of the things I've discovered is to sit and watch and see what doors open is really an important practice. So just like not having predispositions about what other people might need to make their lives work, I try not to have too strong of a predisposition about where I think I'm going to go next, because I get surprised because one door just flies right open and the other one I'm over here knocking on maybe doesn't open at all, and I'm like, okay, see ya, and that flexibility and fluidity has become really important to me in my life. And I have a vision for a next project, and it's just something that I think is important. I had never thought of it until the election, and I heard about how many people felt disenfranchised in our own nation. People who, I'm reaching to these groups prior to that are clearly, visibly struggling at a very basic level. But I'm finding out there are people in our own country here who felt left behind for a decade or more as all the plants around them closed and that sort of thing. They didn't have any income and they felt like nobody was listening to them. And that came as a big surprise to me, and I think it did to some of the people that I know as well, that, wow, how come we didn't know this? And so one of the next things that we're talking about doing, back to my Billions Rising Foundation, the nonprofit, is going to produce a documentary about maybe a few of these people. Maybe an older person who lost a job and feels unemployable. Maybe a young person, maybe a person of color, maybe we don't know yet who we're going to feature, but real personal, deep stories about what is it taking for each one of these people to step forward in life, to receive. What do they need from a bigger world? What does the bigger world need to give to them? What do they need so that they can survive this big technological shift that's taken place?
And while some people would say, what do you mean, why do we have to give to them? It's, well, because it's been taken from them. Right. So we have to all give back to those that have been taken from, with the housing crisis and the financial meltdown of the last 10 years. These things have taken everybody's everything.
Right.